What's good, guys? Wait for Mac to jump in here. Hope everybody's been doing well. Finally back on my feet after surgery. Back to feeling like I can talk for an hour. Where's Mac? He'll jump in a second. What's going on, folks?
What up, what up, what up?
What's good, man?
Good to see you, brother. Good to see you.
Hey, good to be seen. How you been?
Man, I've been good, man. I just first want to say, hey, man, I'm glad you made it through the surgery okay. Glad you're feeling well to do another show, man. Glad we back at it, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Yeah,
sure.
man, it was one of those things that wasn't too serious. Just kind of put me out for a couple weeks. And to be honest, it takes a while after getting everything kind of to a stopping point with all these different things that I'm dealing with to then get everything back up and running and seeds and podcasts. And
For sure.
so, you know, it took a little while to get things back on track, man.
For sure, man. For sure, man. Well, I guarantee me and the fan base is definitely glad you're back, bro.
And I appreciate it, dog. I'm happy to be back. Like I said, it was kind of weird not doing these for a couple of weeks. After we got into it, after we get into a rotation of doing them, it's just, you know, it seems so natural. But then, you know, being down for a couple of weeks, it's kind of, you know, it's weird to get back into it.
For sure. Yeah, man, while you were on pause, I took your advice, man, and I started my own podcast.
Awesome.
I think it's been doing well, good reception, man. So definitely got to have you on the podcast, too, as well.
Yeah, for sure.
I appreciate what you do for me.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I'm really glad. Like, that was something that needed to happen anyway, just so you've got your own thing, too, you know? Nobody's kind of relying on anybody. We can all do our own thing and then kind of, you know, do what works while we're working together. So,
Sure.
Yeah, these have been really good, man, because like I said, I think there's kind of two sides to what everybody's wanted out of these, and one of them is just kind of things that anybody can approach and things that anybody can pick up and tips and tricks and genetics and, you know, things like that that are more accessible to everybody, you know. So that's why these really work for a lot of people.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
The other big thing while I was down is, once again, I've lost another Instagram page. Instagram fucking hates me, you know. I didn't even want to do this. I didn't even want to do this live here just because I'm so sick of giving them free content and then them just throwing my page in the trash and then treating us like shit.
No explanation, nothing.
Yeah, nothing. I mean, I honestly, I really have no clue what happened this time. My page hadn't been reported in months. Like, I hadn't had any problems since we started doing the live stuff. I had completely quit posting almost, like, other than just here and there. And yeah, I don't even know, man. Like, I just hit a point where I'm just kind of tired of providing any content for this page when they don't want us here. They've made that clear.
For sure, man. And even with, I think Twitter just launched something like, I think people can profit off of cannabis products now on Twitter or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, man, I've only, in the last year since I lost my Instagram a couple of times, even set up a Twitter page, and I really should do more with it, but, you know.
Yeah, same here, bro.
Yeah.
Same here, man. I don't know. I guess Twitter is I feel like it's more for established brand. You know, if I post a tweet, that's just not going to go anywhere, but at the end of the day, everybody started somewhere, right? So I guess, you know, eventually we do got to start hitting all platforms and shit, bro.
Well, what they don't tell you, this is what nobody mentions, right? So when it comes to stuff like that, the reason you see certain pages more is because they pay. They pay. Like, if you're willing to pay for ad space, they don't give a shit what you do. Like, there's weed, you know, there's weed ads on Google and on YouTube all over the place. There's weed ads on Facebook. That's what's so funny about them being such, such headaches about Instagram is it's not the same rules that they use on
Right,
Facebook. It's completely
right.
different,
There's all sorts of Scrogger groups and weed groups all through Facebook that I see, and they post pictures of their flowers all day. At the end of the day, man, like, let's just be for real. It's a fucking flower, bro. We're not posting crack. We're not posting methamphetamines. You know,
No,
we're posting a flower.
you're good if you're selling Xanax.
You know,
See
I
that
have
shit
those
all
people
over
in
the
my
place.
inbox all day long. You know what I mean? Like, so at this point, what are you really doing? You know?
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, once again, it's just one of those things. It's just a small headache. Like at the end of the day, that's why we're doing these. That's why we're trying to do other stuff. That's why we're trying to kind of get away from doing Instagram stuff in general, is because if they don't want us, fuck providing content for them. Like, what's the
No,
point? You
no, for
know?
sure, bro. For sure. And I think again, I think YouTube is gonna be a better a platform for us, man. Like I follow a bunch of guys on YouTube, man. Their pages seem to do well, over thousands of followers. I mean, look at Canuck. Canuck posts shit all day long with huge videos on how to grow. So I think we'll be okay on YouTube, bro.
Yeah, especially because a lot of it's just this. It's just conversation. Like it's literally. I mean, we're not even mostly posting like weed anything. That's the other
Right.
thing with my new Instagram. I'm just not going to post any weed pictures. If you want to see weed pictures, go follow my Reddit page.
Right.
Reddit doesn't give a shit what you post as far as weed pictures. So like I'll just post my weed content there, and you can always just follow my Reddit. It's just so much easier to fucking not get my page taken down every couple months because somebody got butthurt about something. It's just not worth it, man.
No, for sure, man. At this point, bro, I feel like you've had enough. Cultivar's grown, and the community knows what your work looks like. You know, and if you know. And I'll advise anybody that's a breeder to make you a seed finder. Make you a seed finder.
Yeah, I got
Document your
somebody
growth
working
there.
on that too. I
Yep.
got somebody working on that. We're getting all of my strains, like especially my older stuff, uploaded to Strain Finder. It just took forever to kind of get it all into one space because there's so many.
Right.
And I finally have somebody doing that, which is huge right now.
Now the guy from Seed Finder is pretty dope, man. When I did mine, like he literally kind of gives you like a one-on-one. You know, he sends you questions. He asks you about the parents, the lineage, where did this come from, where did this come, and it builds its database around that because of other inputted data points that it kind of refers to. So I really support Seed Finder, man. Shout out Seed Finder for doing that, man. I think it was a great thing for the community.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely, especially because it's all Google search. So if you're looking to see if like somebody created a strain with a name that you like or something like that, it's really easy to like go there, one-stop shop. I mean, there's other places that you can look and other things that pulls
Mm-hmm.
from, but like to be honest, if you come up with a strain name and you want to know if somebody's got it, then Seed Finder's become like the go-to. So what happened for me was just that one of the, I want to say maybe it was Stoner Chef or somebody that follows me hit me up and had like a spreadsheet of all of my genetics,
Right.
maybe not all of them, but like a huge chunk. And so what we did was I was able to hand that off to somebody else who was like, look, I want to do this for like seeds. I'll do all this. We'll get it all input. And so for once I had it all in one place, and I was just like, the two things just collided and it worked out. And, so we're getting all this stuff uploaded, and then new stuff
Yeah.
will be easy because I tend to work with a lot of my stuff or somewhat established strains. Like I don't work with a ton of stuff nobody's ever heard of in their life.
Yeah,
So
man.
like,
It's definitely important, bro, to document the lineage and have a place where we can go to find it, man. Because as a hunter, as a strain hunter, I like to call myself. I like to look at grandparents. I don't even sometimes just stop at the parents. I'll look at the grandparents. And if you're hunting, you're really hunting, right? You find that trait that's prevalent in that lineage, and you go hunt for it, man. But it helps to have a roadmap of what you're looking at, man. So again,
yeah, and that's another one of those things where, man, that's why I'm not really fond of like mystery strain,
right,
mystery
bro.
cookies, mystery bag seed. Like I get that sort of stuff, and it's always fun to kind of play with on your own, even if it's something that's great. But if you don't know the lineage, kind of working with it then kind of put some shit into the gene pool that everybody goes, I don't know.
Bro,
I don't know.
I've wasted some expensive seeds, bro. And since I didn't know what they were, man, I threw them shits away, bro, because I'm like, I can't put that out. I don't know what it is. I don't want to even take a guess. If I don't know that this bean came from this container,
Right.
I won't put it. I mean, I'll grow it, of course, just to grow it and, produce
Yeah.
medicine. But as far as when it comes to breeding and shit, I won't use it. I can't do. I can't.
I don't. I mean, I just kind of have a thing about bag seed in general because 99% of the time we know how it got there. And it's just one of those things where it's like you're kind of asking for problems if you're going to use that to breed with. Now, I say that. How many of today's favorite strains came from a seed
Right.
somebody pulled out of a
Right.
bag of weed somewhere? And then we talk about pissing in the gene pool, and it's like, well, that's the basis of how many strains now. Like, how many strains now came from what we know to be hermaphrodite genetics? Because there's not enough seeds to really say it was a male.
Right.
And you can usually fucking tell. Like, it's
Right.
one of those things that we've all had the strains that I'm talking about. OG Kush, GG4, all the chems.
I think
The most popular strain.
so. I'm not opposed to finding something special in a bag that I smoked, right, and growing it and working it, because as long as you're labeling it and being honest with the consumer about where it came from, what were your intentions of when you found it, type shit, it's fine. I mean, I understand about quote unquote putting hermaphroditic traits into the gene pool, but come on, like you said, not thousands, but a lot of our well-bred known strands have come from bag seeds.
Yeah, but then we got so many problems with hermaphrodites in the gene pool as a larger problem. This is largely where it comes from, is taking strains that we from male-female pairings or strains that we don't know were somewhat stable in the first place. Like it inevitably it's part of growing the sort of plant that we're growing, but another part of it is so many of today's strains, popular strains from the past, somewhere in their lineage, it's the branches don't branch off as far. We got strains we don't really know what the parents are.
Right.
And people just the other problem is labeling stuff as an S1 as though you intentionally cross these two strains, but it was just a bag seed and you don't really know what it came from. Like, that's another one of those problems that I see a lot.
Yeah, that's
It's maybe not being quite as honest and just saying, like, I don't know what this was. I don't know what these parents were. I don't really know what's going on here, because somebody inevitably is going to take it and want to cross it and make something new.
If it's fire, yeah. So that's a great question, though. So let's say it's fire, bro. It's fire. Like, you've seen it grow. You've seen the potential. So are you saying that, if you got a bag seed, you wouldn't use it?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and here's why, man. And it kind of comes down to this. Like, at a certain point, you're going to see another strain that's going to be somewhat similar. Like, I've never clung to any one strain so much that if I lost it, it would be this huge breakdown for me. Like, I just don't hoard strains like that. I don't really covet strains like that. So for me, it's like I've had so many unique profiles. It's great if I'm able to make seeds with it, but I'm not going to make seeds with something that I know isn't 100%, or that I don't know what the lineage is, so that I can put that out there and be honest about it, so whoever grows it next knows what they're getting. So yeah, no.
So
There was once in my entire life that a bag of weed with seeds in it got lost, and this was like 96, 97, 98. A bag of seeds like a bag of weed full of seeds got lost, and it broke my heart. But since then, no. And there's nothing that I've run that I wouldn't like let go and just run something else or do something else.
The homie online just made a comment that I was just going to bring up. That comes with time and experience. Me as the breeder and the grower that I am now, when I find something, it's hard for me to let it go. And my homie on here, he's had to come over here and be like, bro, let it go. Throw it away. I'm like, all right, bro. Fuck, I don't want to let it go. So now I'm finally learning how to turn down offers from people and be like, nah, I can't accept it. Thank you, bro. But, you know.
There's a lot of that too, man. Like there is a certain amount of like, once you've seen a lot of what's out there, the standard to really hit that bar of like, this is super impressive is so much higher. Because like, I can always pick something I don't like, right? And not necessarily in just the way there's the profile or in the terps or in the head, but like I could always go, the trikes could be a little bit bigger or the flower yield could be a little bit bigger. The chances that you're going to find one that's going to check 10 in every single box, why we keep,
for sure.
that's why we keep hunting. That's why we all keep popping seeds. That's why we all keep doing this.
For sure.
It's because there is that notion that you're going to find one that's slightly better than one you've seen before. Now, no matter what flavor it is, no matter what terp it is, no matter why you love it because it washes well, like there's a million, and that's the issue, is there's a million different boxes that a great strain has to check.
Hey,
and
I'll tell you
different for everybody.
Speaking of boxes and being checked, so you know I popped your blackout truffle and your Flintstone, right?
Yep.
So the blacked out truffle checks my box because I like short, bully. I like American bullies. You know what I mean? So bully looking plants, bro. It's one of my favorites just to grow. Well, it was my favorite when I was growing in a tent. Now that I'm out of a tent, it's different, but it's still one of my favorites, right?
Yep.
The blacked out truffle produces trichomes early on in flower. I noticed, okay, this is going to be a plant that really wants to throw trikes, right? And it's not even that close to the light, so it's telling me that it's in my opinion, it's genetics, you know, because it's not close to the light. I like this blood structure on it, bro. It looks like, and this is only day 30, right? But it looks like it's going to produce really tight nugs. Is that something that you've seen inside of the blackout truffle?
Yeah. So here's the thing, man. I got the biochem that's the mother in that strain when I was working at the last commercial dispo I fucked with. This is years ago. Like I don't really have a vested interest in large scale grows anymore. The last one I worked in, I knew the guy that was in the veg room, and he's kind of like, "Do you want anything?" And I was like, "Yeah, let me get that biochem." Like every time I had seen it in the grow, it was unbelievable. And it's a Chem 4 Sensi Star. So the beautiful thing about the blackout truffle in general is it's got all of your favorite genetics characteristics about the chem. Whether it be, you know, the stinky foot kind of funk, spoiled food kind of funk. It's got all of that. But it's shorter and it finishes in a reasonable amount of time.
That's what it's looking like.
Yeah, and it's not quite as sativa leaning. Like you said, when you see it, there tend to be shorter plants.
Mm-hmm.
It does well with training and with topping and with LST and with really any way you want to grow her. If you just let her grow, she'll just grow and grow decent sized nugs on it and grow taller. But
so
you know, she does really well in the
I have her all spread out. Like, so in my opinion, she grows very Christmas tree like. She grows a lot of. She has lower branches that can reach the top. She doesn't mind throwing lower branches for top buds if you spread her out, right? And so I got her pretty flat. And everybody's producing nice size top colas, man. It's what I really like. Now, what I would have added to it, I think the Caramel Grape Donuts would add to it, is the vertical growth. And but then again, it's only day 30. We got more time to see, right? But I'm loving it, man. Like, the frost on it's crazy, bro. The terpene, really I'm not getting terpene. I'm not getting that rotten fuel. I'm getting kush. I'm getting that undescribable funk. I can't explain it. It's not trash can, but it's funk. It's that. Yeah. I always talk about it. It's the shit that we used to smoke back in the day. It's what it's leaning towards. Yeah, that sweet. It's not even sweet, but it's not gas either. It's just that funk, you know, man. I can't explain it, bro. But
that one
again, it's day 30.
That one finishes up a lot of terpage in the last weeks. Like it'll run
I don't want to change.
70 days, 75 days is usually wrapping up by that point. Whereas, like, you know, and the other thing is, man, if you pull one plant out of, you know, out of how many, and that's the representation of it, it's kind of tough to say, like, that's what the strain has potential-wise, because there's tons in there of, like, you know, taller plants, stretchier plants. The biochem was a little bit more stretchy, like had a little bit more legs to it. The white cherry truffle is all chem too, so it's like there is some cushion there for sure. But you know, once again, man, I love it.
I've grown the white cherry truffle, bro. And it's so is the blacked out truffle, is that with white cherry truffle?
Yeah, it's a biochem. It's the biochem white cherry truffle, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, that's what it's familiar as. That's what I see. That's what because I've grown that too. I've grown that while I was in Spain, and it was definitely a nice producer with the. Man, I cannot wait. I'm excited, bro. I'm excited.
Like I said, it'll finish up on you really well too. What about the cereal, the Flintstone one?
The Flintstone has more sativa growing bud structure, in my opinion. It's taller, longer, still frosty. She's not producing a terpene for me just yet. Super frosty, nice size buds, but to the then, you know, I'm not trying to rape her, you know, I'm touching on her. I just want to kind of, you know.
Oh yeah.
But again, it's day 30, so it's plenty of time left, you know.
You're running LEDs, you said?
Yeah, LEDs.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's nice though. I wish man. You guys will see the garden. I'll take a selective picture of that one, bro, and post it because I don't really want to show the garden, but
yeah.
I'll take a selective.
Yeah, man. And when they finish up, let me see, because I'll definitely share them. Like I said, I've been posting more flower stuff on Reddit lately, just because it's where we can post stuff. But yeah, man, let me know, and I'll definitely share them. The blackout truffle is just one for me. Like both of those are the kind of two of my favorite lines that I've worked with, because once again, it's a lot of kush. The Flintstone is the Terp Drip cross, which is the cereal milk royal goo.
Oh yeah.
The royal goo for me, I'm a huge fan of kush, but a lot of the kush strains aren't really great hash strains. Like all the way back to Granddaddy Purple, you know, a lot of your old school heavy indicas weren't necessarily amazing for making hash. They tend to have really small trikes. They tend to not really drop a lot of trikes if you're washing it. So the problem becomes making a kush strain that has all those beautiful characteristics of kind of coffee and pine and, you know, earthy kind of stuff, but without kind of teeny tiny trikes. And the other problem is a lot of the sweeter Afghani type strains. And that's why for a long time in America, especially, Afghani in general wasn't a term people loved, because a lot of those old school strains would get banged with some kind of boring Afghan sweet kind of generic strain just because it chunked it up. And you know, that's where a lot of those original strains that people bitch about not being here anymore, they got kind of in Holland especially, they got whacked into, you know, lots of boring Afghans that didn't really push the gene pool forward, but just because they were really heavy. And you know, in general,
I thought Afghans was like really known for producing like hash plants for sure. Like
yeah, but those are very specific plants. Like a lot of what's come here has been largely just picked because it was chunky. And it's only really, once again, the last 20 years that people have really dug back into a lot of those old school genetics and had a more discerning eye for what they're selecting for.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, like the other problem was a lot of that stuff wasn't worked back then. It was completely new to people that weren't living in those particular areas where it was collected.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I'm growing the Cali Ram right now, and in my opinion, it's too slow. I need something, but one of my homies saying be patient on it, so I'm gonna just watch it. But then again, I didn't grow a large selection of them either, though. So again, like you said, you can't take a representation off of one seed, right? So
right. Well, the other thing is, man, you never really know. Every person, every situation, every grow is different. So what might be beneficial to you, somebody else might find, might find some love in that. And that's why a lot of these strains, like, it's amazing to have so many people now popping seeds, because we're finally starting to see people who maybe might keep a plant because it's something special to them, but that you or somebody else or somebody running a more commercial setup might not really have a ton of interest in for whatever reason. They can't keep up, takes too much time to veg, doesn't produce, doesn't produce flour at a reasonable rate, doesn't yield well as hash. There's a million different things that people are looking for in what they're growing. That's what
Yeah.
makes it really tricky as a breeder, because you inevitably want to try and breed the perfect strain that makes everybody happy.
You
It's
won't
not going to happen. It's
name
not going to.
something. Name one thing that makes everybody happy.
You're right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
But you really want to try and, as much as you can, check all those boxes. As much as you can, you want to try and check. Make it
I
yield
just
well,
pick
make it wash
everything I
well,
like,
make
bro.
it.
If somebody else would enjoy the work that I put in, at the end of the day, I do it because I like to do it. I hope y'all enjoy it too, So you'll never find anything that's for everybody.
Yeah, you're right.
And my wife and I go through that all the time. I like this strain, she don't like that strain. You know what I mean? So yeah, never.
Yeah, that's the trick, man. And that's the thing, man. That's the standard. Like, there's so many people that look at it that way, though, that look at it like, as a breeder, you're only supposed to put out your tens. You're not supposed to put out the sixes or the sevens. And the reality is, life is more sixes and sevens than it is tens. No matter how much searching you do, no matter how much space you have, no matter
Yeah.
how many seeds you can pop, life's going to be more about those sevens that are really amazing to you. And that's where we all find those things that we love. And that's the thing about so many people popping seeds right now, is that really is something that there's
Everybody,
strains that maybe
everybody's finding
aren't
something.
important. Yeah, right. If it's not
Yeah,
important to me, it's important to somebody.
right.
You know,
I just enjoy doing it while you're doing it, in
that's
my
it.
opinion,
That's it.
bro.
Yeah, that's it.
Um, yeah. So that's pretty dope, man.
So
So what's been up, man? What we got going up, coming up new with TERP?
uh, pineapple sorbet, another pineapple sorbet drop, probably the last one until so this one I wanted to go back and finish kind of I'm not going to do it past F4s, but I wanted to kind of round out, one more round of the sorbet line as I've worked it. So I did a huge drop, or it's going to be a huge drop of different, crosses, but it's probably the last one of this line that I'm going to keep working. I want to go back to the F1s and kind of see what else is there. Because what we've seen out of that is so amazing and is so different and unique that what's still there has to be awesome.
Right.
Like, there has to be other
Right.
stuff there that's worth digging into.
For sure.
And once again, like, unless it's a project I just really want to continue, I don't really have a purpose in bottlenecking genetics, deep filial inbreeding for 8-10 generations just to have every single plant
Right.
look the same and be kind of boring.
Right. You should have got it when I released it,
working for.
man. Like, I totally agree, man. I asked you that because I wanted to speak about a little bit what I got going on. So please excuse me because I'm a little blazed on the
What do you
caramel
got,
baked
dog?
donuts. But check it out.
What you got?
So I got my King Solomon going, man. That's a collaboration with the Supply Gang, man. So that's in-house genetics pancake breath with London pound cake, right? So we found a great selected pheno, bro. We hunted it again, and we got some children coming from it. Well, I'm reversing it, and I'm gonna also hit it with a surprise. I'll release that a little later. Surprise ladies that we got in the tent, man. So really be on the lookout for that, man. King Neptune, though, is gonna take over Virginia. People have been promoting it all over, man. We got like local rappers that's known in the city screaming out King Neptune in the songs and shit like that, man. So King Neptune is definitely coming, y'all. I know y'all been asking for it, but I want to make sure it's right for me. So or for us, shall I say, because it's a team effort. But when you drop it, y'all be on the lookout for it. I cannot wait. Also, follow me on YouTube, Mr. Mac Blunts, on Twitch and Twitter. All same handle. I appreciate it.
Okay, so what kind of profiles are we talking about?
Profiles we getting is lemon, bro. I found a lemon kush. It's really frosty, great buds. I did a side-by-side with cookies, and I did a side-by-side with King Neptune. And in these pictures, if that's the industry standard, then this pheno we got is definitely one to be reckoned with. I'm excited, man. If it was just me, I'd have been released the seeds and told people to grow it. But homie, like, let's wait. We're gonna do it right. So that's the only reason why you haven't seen King Neptune.
We can definitely do better than cookies as the industry standard, though.
In my generation, I gotta say cookies, runts, and that's really what everybody's screaming where I'm from type shit. You know, I like different
it's
shit.
It's great marketing. That's really all it is. It's just beautiful marketing, man.
Right.
Because I wouldn't say, and in my honest opinion, if you even asked me like top 50 strains, I don't think I would put cookies or runts in the top of the most impressive strains that I've ever seen. Like I would be grabbing to get either one of those strains as the most impressive weed. Now, to be honest, I haven't seen, hundreds and hundreds of packs of either. Like, I just don't. Cookies isn't a commercially viable strain, so not as many people grow it. And I guess that's really what it is it just has always been one of those strains that has pretty big trikes. The profile's all right. Like, it's not the strongest OG profile. I always joked it was kind of like a watered-down OG. It's a little gassy, but it's not like Hell's Angels OG, Fire OG, like just straight burn your nostrils fucking gas. Like, that's just not cookies. As far as runts, man, runts kind of reminds me of that Colorado flow. Like, it's this really floral strain that if you around Colorado, like every commercial grow was running it at one point. Sherbet, it's just a kind of a watered down sherbet. Now, don't get me wrong, like Sunset Sherbet is delicious. It's just such a delicious profile. It really is some like tropical, interesting, unique, but almost like got this gaseous undertone. Like sherbet, but like runts, the runts that I've seen, man, let's be honest, so many people are just throwing what the fuck ever in a runts package, and just you can get them runts packages for 10,000 of them for a nickel a piece on wish.com, and people just throw anything they can in it. And so the real actual runts that I've had, I don't know, it's trite, it's pretty, it finishes dark. I get why people like it, but it's not something that I'm going to grab 10 times out of 10 as the terpiest strain I've ever had, or a sample that just blew my mind.
It's definitely, in my opinion, an enjoyable smoke. And the reason why I like it is because when you got it, you know you got it. I'm confident when I'm smoking runts, it's probably runts,
Yeah.
So that's what I like about it. The identibility of it. It's an enjoyable smoke. Yeah, it don't get me stupid, but I don't really want to be stupid. I like to feel great. You know what I'm saying? It makes me feel great.
Do you remember the strain that they were calling like blueberry yum yum? Like the legit 90s? No. It was one of those that like it had this such a distinct, like the old school perps, it just had this candy that it was undescribable. It's like you said, it's like when you know you got it, you got it.
Right.
But the thing with runts to me, it didn't check all the boxes that sherbet did. Like Sunset Sherbet, really, honest to God, it just, by the time you cut it down to something else, it just looks pretty. It just doesn't have that same tropical punch, that the original did. It's the same thing with cookies, man. The cookies it kind of reminds me of OG Kush with like a little doughy kind of not
Listen,
milky, but you know, kind of cookie
I can't
thing.
speak on cookies. I can speak on King Neptune. Like the King Neptune, I know we got something special with it. You
Yeah.
know, because again, it's been asked for, and when it disappears, well, people rap about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
I'm excited, bro. I cannot
But
wait.
see, like I've worked with runs too. I've worked with, like you said, London Pound Cake. I've worked with a handful of those strains myself, and they do better in crosses sometimes than the samples that I've seen of flour or even runs that I've had myself personally. Like, there's a lot of strains like that to me that like they have something that they really are that they do well, and that it's really, you know, interesting. It's either a great yielder, beautiful bag, you know, great trikes, great profile. But then once you cross it, you really get to see like what all it has, because you're not just seeing that one pheno, that one
Right.
sample,
And
you know.
and that's exactly, and that's what we're doing now, bro. You know what I'm saying? I want to see what it does when it's crossed into something. You know what I mean? Because let's just be honest. If you take somebody's one gear to somebody else's gear and put it together and make a cross, did you really make? You made a cross, but in my opinion, that's not working it. I want to know what you take with that cross and do something else with it, and then what does that express? So in my opinion. So that's why we putting it into the mystery ladies, and we're gonna see what that does, because I think it's important to work the line. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
slow but sure.
absolutely.
But
Well, see, that just kind of goes back to something we've talked about a lot, and that we've talked about on a couple other shows about having a purpose. So if you go into it and you say, man, I really love this strain, but this is what I specifically love about it, you know, you can kind of select in that direction while also trying to check all these other, you know, you want it to yield well, you want it to have nice resin, you want it to have terps that you like, you know, whatever the other kind of characteristics are that you're looking for when you go into it. It's not just necessarily the one thing that you love about it, whether it's the profile, whether it's just how it grows, you know.
yep, I totally understand.
Yeah. And it's, dude, it's just one of those with, you know, I'm not shitting on anybody. If you love it, there's a reason you love it, no matter what the strain is,
Right,
you know. And
right.
and I love seeing people crossing anything that they love, because then we know it's going to survive and it's going to make it on further, and we'll see what else there is to have with it, you
That's
know.
man. That's the most important thing, bro. What up? What up? What up, y'all? That's the most important thing. If you, man, I tell anybody with that, with growing, if you like it, keep it around. It's a reason why you like it. Like, that's why it'd be so hard for me to let shit go. You know what I'm saying? Like, but at the end of the day, it's whatever you like. Grow, grow out of love, man.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about the noise. You know what I mean? Like, everybody gonna have their own opinion about everything, man. At this point in the world, everybody's fucking opinionated. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
right.
saying? So, man, I love what I do, and I hope people enjoy what I do. You know what I'm saying? Because I have fun. You know what I'm saying? So, like, just grow. You know, if you like it, grow it. If you don't, leave it alone.
Yeah. Dude, somebody just mentioned that banana mint. That shit was disgusting. That banana Ghidorah mints. The
Man,
mom and that smelled like absolute mop water. Like, it had this disgusting. It was one of the nastiest smells, man. And I was kind of getting sick already, and I
yeah,
smelled it, and I swear it nearly made me sick. Like, there was no banana. It was all like
got to.
spoiled mop water, musty, bo,
Where do
like
you
just the
think it came from?
funkiest. I'd have to look. It was a banana Kush Mints. It was a banana OG Kush Mints,
Yep.
and it was, there was no banana. It was just all rancid, foul,
Dang,
disgusting,
dang.
and people love that. I mean, that's, you know, once again, like, that's become a whole genre of ganja seeds, is like the repulsive stuff, the really bad, funky, nasty, spoiled food, just bad. And I get it,
I tell
you
you,
know.
I had one plant that was like that ever. and it was the one that tasted like the French onion dip. It was the Chim D, and that was one of the plants I had to let go. I was like, bro, because me personally, it was cool because it was different for me, but I like to enjoy my smoke. That shit gotta taste good. That shit gotta make me feel good. Shit on the beach, bro.
Yeah, see, I like that too, but see, here's the thing. Like, when I started doing seeds, one of my goals was to always have a flavor for everybody. So I kind of try to do each round something different, and I'll get suckered into doing too much kush, too much tropical shit, because that's what I like.
Yeah.
Like, I really like tropical weed, kush, but I love gas and shit too. But like the Chiquita berries I got from Sohio seeds, I worked with that just recently, and it smells like burnt match heads. It smells like sulfur and burnt perm. Like, it smells
It sounds kind
like
of
burnt and
ew.
chemical, like
Ew.
mad chemical. Like, it smells like chemicals, but burnt, just sulfur.
You know what?
And it's so weird. Like, I almost want to say this gas too, but like, you don't get it over just a pure sulfur funk. Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
I misspoke. Another funky, nasty, smelling and tasting herb is B.A. Ganny, bro. I'm not even from Virginia. I'm from Houston, Texas. That's my city. But I gotta give it to B.A., man, because when you open the pack, it smells like menthol mothballs. Like, who this can't be weed. What are you doing with this? What is this? I'm
Yeah.
like, yo, I've never smelled it like that. And I'll give you a story. So the other day, I told it on my show. Me and my homie, we sat outside and we matched, right? He brought his bag out, the little pretty looking bags. He popped it. Boom. I pulled some stuff out that my homie grew with the VA Ganny. He put it under his nose. He like, wow. Okay, boom. Hit it like mine. It's good, it's good, it's good. I already know. I pass it to him. He hit it and his chest explodes. This shit opened him up. You know what I mean? Whoa, yeah. So I kept that around. I'm not letting that one go. That one just is in the. She look beat up right now because I'm just telling her to hold on. Hold on.
Is,
Just be
is that a
patient.
cut?
I got you.
Is that a cut you got from somewhere, or a seed you
Yeah.
bought?
Cut. Mm-hmm.
Right. Nice. Yeah, man, it's funny because, dude, there's, like I said, so many people love that really nasty stuff. Like skunky sport. The GMO is another good example of a strain that, like, it's not really appealing. Like, it's
I'm sorry.
boiled,
Which one?
musty, BO, but like, you really learn to love it. It's so dank, and it really does smack your head around, and it's a great profile. It's really chem heavy. The beef it takes forever to finish. Like, you're looking at 11 weeks and you're like still tapping your foot because you're still throwing white pistols out. But it does have that like nasty funk that people just really do love.
Have you experienced the terp that I'm trying to explain? It's just really mothbally,
Oh yeah.
sour, like.
Well, see, that the blackout truffle, the Biochem Mom, the way I always described it was it smelled like DMT, Foot Locker, and mothballs. Like, which is almost the same
Yeah.
vinyl, like rubber, it's a really unique thing. But then, like, when you get into a more sour thing from there, like, a lot of the sours kind of collide at a point where it's like either sour fruit or sour gas. Like, which end are we talking about?
It's no fruit. It's unfortunately it's no fruit, but it's so different. I actually like it because I'm not really a gasser. I told you I like to enjoy my smoke when I'm smoking. It makes me feel like I'm at the beach, So with the DA Ganny, it went well with me because it was just different. It was like, what is this? Like, it's weird. I can't even explain it. All I can think of is lemon mothball pledge. Like,
Yeah.
I can't explain it. It's
It
just
kind of
weird.
reminds me of like the Super Lemon Haze a little bit, where it's got like some of the phenos I've seen. You know, it's got kind of a
I
lemony
don't
thing,
even know the parents of the VA Ganny. I don't even
almost
know
like
the
a
lineage.
rubber thing.
I don't even know where to find the lineage or who even made the VA Ganny. But
Yeah,
it's been
I've
around
never heard
Virginia.
of it. I've heard of a couple different Afghani cuts that still kind of go around commercial grows and stuff. There was one that well, the last place I got the biochem from that had like it was somewhere in California, but it was like, you know, Long Beach Afghani or something like that, you
Yeah,
know. And it
it's
wasn't anything I recognized, and I could never find any genetics. Who knows what it really could have been,
no.
you
Well,
know?
what it is, it's been floating around Virginia for years. It's like
Yeah,
an
right.
old strand that people that's my age or older say they was smoking back in the 7th grade. You know what I mean? So for me to have that cut and to know that it even kind of for me it even blew my mind type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I was like, wow, that's different. You know, it didn't make its way to Texas. I'll tell you that. You know,
Yeah,
but it
yeah,
was
and you know, it's funny with strains like that that don't have a super unique name. That it could have been anything. It could have been from anywhere originally. It could have been from a pack of Afghani seeds
yeah,
somebody popped 20 years ago,
yeah.
you know, and just kept in their closet. And then one day it got out. They gave it to a friend. They were shutting down to grow and just needed something to go somewhere. Like we've all been there. You know, there's so many different situations that, you know, and then the next thing you know is somebody changes the name and now it's, you know, local Afghani or it's
You
local, you
say
know.
39 years in Virginia Beach. JoJo Skunk Farm is the man keeping it alive. I would tell JoJo he on to something. Well, he been on to something. He been on. I just got hip to it. Like JoJo. Shout out JoJo.
So just,
39 years. Wow, that's special, man.
bro, you'd be super surprised at what's like once you start to do these and the people start to see it, people start to show up. The funniest thing was I started doing I'm gonna do a couple part series about one of my old friends who's passed away, who was kind of an Athens, Georgia legend. And so I started talking to friends, and then other people started popping out of the woodworks and were like, yo, I actually know these people. Like, I know a bunch of the other shit that happened, like that you might not know, or that, you
Yeah,
know. And
yeah.
it's funny, man, how that kind of stuff happens because like people like that, like my circle has always been really small of people that I actually know and care about. And when somebody knows like an actual friend of mine, but knows them like through the back door, through ways that weren't me, it's kind of funny because, you know, homie passed away in like 2010. And I've talked about it before. I've named strain, you know, Hetty Eddie, the strain that I did was named after my buddy Ed. And I've talked to, you know, a couple of his friends that I want to, once we get these going and people are watching and paying attention and or care, and it's worth doing, then we're going to do a couple parts
That's
on, you know,
nice.
yeah, you know, Athens, Georgia, how I kind of found my ties to the city,
Yeah.
go dogs, you know, and kind of people that I know. That's always been a city that's always been super well known for just stank, nasty, heady ass bud. There's been growers in that city and around that city for decades, and there's stories there that really have never been told of people who have moved on now, passed on now. You know, there's nobody
Hey,
involved with any trouble.
well, I must say, I gifted your Hetty Eddie to a first time grower, and he grew an amazing plant.
That's awesome.
And matter of fact, by Hetty Eddie, he's ordered from you a huge order, and now it's growing. I turned him on to being a Turk Fiend fan,
That's
so
awesome.
because of
That's
the
awesome,
Hetty
man.
Eddie Turk bomb, bro. So that's the story that
That's
you can
awesome.
add. You know, shout
Yeah.
out to Hetty Eddie, man.
The funny thing was
True,
when I
true
made the
story.
strain that I made, there weren't really a lot of ties genetically, but it's kind of funny as I've talked to kind of friends and, you know, they start to talk and reminisce and it's like, oh, you remember this strain, you remember this strain. And there's like a laundry list of old school genetics that these cats were all growing back long before it was cool to do such a thing. And it's still really not in that area. And there's just, there's been, older people than me that would tell me about, hydroponic growers in the 70s that were fucking around with shit around the university and just, the University of Georgia's always been known for heady weed. Now they're known for 2 back-to-back national championships. But, it's one of those stories. One of those stories that needs to be told. They're about to win a third. I'm going to piss people off if I keep going. I'm going to alienate a huge group of fans. But it's like religion in the South. Like football is we always joke, if you live in the Carolinas, it's NASCAR and basketball. If you live in any of almost the SEC states, it's football. And it's Jesus, and right up there next to it is football.
Come on, you speaking to Texas, bro. I'm from the era of Vince Young, watching him play Pop Warner and seeing, wow, this guy's pretty much better than everybody.
It's about to get
all the way
contentious.
through college to watching him win a national championship. Yep. And he from my city, my hood, bro, Hiram Clark, Texas, man. Shout out y'all, man. But yeah,
Texas is about to be in the SEC, and things are about to change big time.
Man, I don't know, bro. Texas ain't showed me enough lately, bro. Just unfortunately, I win. Win, baby, win.
They gave Alabama a hard time last year. If they can beat Alabama in 2023, then I think they're going to take one big step towards getting, and that's a big piece to chew. But Alabama's kind of got a weird season. They're going to have a, brand new quarterback, an entirely new coaching staff. I know how you got me on college football. We still got 8 months before I get to watch football. But yeah, man, it was my fault because I got to talking about Athens. Anyway, we got 8 minutes, man, so I want to throw this out there real quick. So www.terpfiend.com, TERPFI3ND.com. Any seeds that you heard talking about that were mine here today, more than likely you can find on the website. I had to start another Instagram. Instagram keeps shitting on me. We're probably not going to do these here for much longer. It just doesn't make sense, but we're going to figure something else out and get these to where we're not going to get shut down every 6 weeks, 8 weeks, whenever they get pissed off. But I did start another Instagram. It's right at TERPfiend, TERPFI3ND. No underscore this time. They shut down the underscore. So yeah, I mean, and you can find my link tree and all my Reddit stuff and everything else from there. I'm posting more pictures, weed stuff on Reddit, and where you can discuss it, have a discussion. We also have a Discord server that's been really big. And shout out to the homie that's put that up and kept it going and made sure it's a community, and it's a lot of people actually discussing genetics. And I try to be kind of hands off with it and let people legitimately talk. If you're happy with it, if you're not happy with it, I'm not over moderating it and saying like, you can't, if you didn't have a good time, you can't say anything about it. So, it's a little bit more of a community of people who legitimately love genetics and seeds and, but you can find all my links on my Instagram page at TERPfiend. No underscore, just TERPFI3ND. Yeah, who knows how long this one will last. I'm not posting weed pictures, so there's nothing to report. That's how I look at it. If I don't post any weed pictures, then they can't take anything down. Go to Reddit, go to Reddit, see my weed pics. Go to @TheRealMacBlunts. Hit homie up wherever else. Did you get a website yet? We need to get that going.
No website yet, man. Just hit me up, man. Hit me up. Or you can follow me on YouTube at Mr. Mac Blunts, or you can tap on my link tree. You can follow me on Twitch, man. I'll start posting more content there as well as content comes. But I appreciate everybody for the support. Shout out my man TERPfiend for bringing me on Dank Talk, and Dank Talk is in.
Yeah, we're going to try and get these more regular, man. After the surgery, I was down for weeks. Really wasn't in the mood. And once I got finally back to feeling 100%, I had 100 things that needed to get done before I could even take an hour and sit down and do these. But we're going to try and do these every Wednesday at 9, either here or at, on YouTube, one of our YouTube pages, which I think where we're going to end up. A huge thank you to everybody that reached out while I was down, while I was having surgery. Everybody, that checked on me, everybody that hit me up to ask if I needed anything. Like, it's it's super awesome how many people out there really support us, really support the brand, really support what we're doing. And I appreciate everybody that looked out for us. It was a, you know, sketchy couple of weeks. Everything's good. Nothing too serious. Everybody's good. We're on our feet. Yeah. I don't know. On Twitch, I think you can smoke, but Twitch is really funny, man.
You know what? Yeah, you can smoke, because shout out Maha. Shout out Maha. Her Twitch, she smokes dabs on her Twitch. And she has a pretty good show going on. She's supposed to be on my show in the near future. So shout out Maha. But
which is really fucked up, bro, because we're not doing anything. We're not encouraging people. I'm not telling you to go smoke. I'm just, the worst that you've ever seen here is us smoking, literally, and the rest of it is just us talking. So,
right.
like, you know, I don't understand where on any platform that wouldn't fly. Like, there's got to be a certain amount of, like, that's, you can do that on television. Like, you can do that on any
I'm in a
network
legal
cable
state,
station.
man. So what I choose to do in my home is personal business. I don't show anything that I you know, wouldn't do in front of your dad. You know what I'm saying? So leave us alone. we
Yeah.
gonna follow the rules.
But like
You
I
know?
said, man, if we
If
don't
not,
do
we'll
them
leave.
here, these have all been uploaded to YouTube for posterity. YouTube doesn't seem to mind them. You know, we'll figure it out from there. But yeah, these are just good chats, man, and I appreciate it. And thank you so much for joining again and pushing me to getting back to doing them. And you know, like, it's once again when you're down completely for 3 weeks, getting back up and getting everything back up and just getting yourself back 100% and then feeling like doing extra shit, it gets to be a little bit much, you know. So, you know, it helps.
So
Well, cool, dog. Let's call it, man. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Check out Real Mac Blunts, terpfiend.com. If you need some seeds, hit them up. Peace.
appreciate it.